Hey guys, I wanted to do a quick video on the telephone answering procedures guide that we have for our employees. Every single employee gets one of these as part of their new hire print kit, as well as we have one in the offices or near the phone of every single store. This is something I'm not going to get into the details of this particular document. I want to talk about a little bit more informally within the same context of how we've been talking about responding to people on social media, the importance of getting the at-bats in the first place so that you can have a higher conversion of at-bats, why car count is so important, and kind of talk to you about it in that context. When people are calling on the phone, they're usually calling for one of three things. They're price shopping, directions, and hours of operation. And then, of course, every once in a while, you might get a complaint, which the majority of complaints that we get, thanks to all of our checks and balances, we typically only get complaints about price transparency, which usually stems from employees just not following the process on how to explain our pricing structure to customers, or customers not being happy that they did not get special pricing because they saw an ad after they got the service, things of that nature. So anyway, when it comes to the telephone, it's incredibly important to tell the customer something that they want to hear right off the bat, because in the same sense that when people are scrolling on their Facebook feeds, on their Instagram feed, it's important to do something that gets them to stop, that you have creative that is good enough to get them to stop, and then you have content and copy that is attractive enough for them to indulge in it and consume it and actually retain it. Same thing with the telephone. You need to say what they want to hear. You don't want to lose them in the very beginning. It's very important to answer the phone in an upbeat manner. Cannot overstate that. If you sound like you are irritated to have to pick up the phone, that customer is tuned out immediately. If not, a lot of the times people will just hang up. So it's super important to answer the phone with a lot of enthusiasm. Thank you for calling Coastal Oil. This is so-and-so. How can I help you? Thank you for calling Coastal Oil 10-minute oil change. Everyone gets their own cadence. Our employees at Hano and Boardman, they like to say, thank you for calling Coastal Oil, home of the 10-minute oil change. How can I help you? Whatever that cadence is, you got to be upbeat about it right off the bat. The second thing that's important, if it is price shopping, we're not competing with Jiffy Lube. We're not competing with Valvoline. We're not competing with Take 5. We're playing a different game than those guys. We are competing with repair shops. We're competing with backyard mechanics, driveway mechanics. We are competing with people using oil change as a loss leader, dealerships. We are competing with people wanting to do the oil change themselves to save money. So it is important to say a number that is going to get them engaged. So when you, and I encourage every one of you to call your local Jiffy Lube, call your local Valvoline, and ask for the price. You're going to see the process is going to be the same across the board. All of these full service quick lubes are going to say the same thing. They're going to answer the phone. Hey, I'd like to get a price for an oil change. Could I get your year, make, and model and engine size? I don't really know what my engine size is. Full synthetic this, you're going to hear the tapping on the keyboard. They're going to try to give you the price down to the penny, right? Because they think they think, and I can understand the logic behind it because it is more of a price transparency thing. But in my experience, it's much better to use nice round numbers and then have the specifics be translated at the time of the service. Because if you go down to the penny and they think that they're doing them a favor with price transparency by giving them the price down to the penny, but the customer was wrong about the engine size. You know, we had a customer with a Chevy Trax that they only come with two engines on the Chevy Trax. One takes a canister filter, one takes an OF 1403, right? So there's a price discrepancy between those two that you're not going to know until the car actually comes in, because they actually have the same engine size too. So that being said, when we're answering the phone, we want to say, hey, make sure you check out our Facebook page. We're always running specials. Hey, make sure you check out our website. We have some coupons. This is the base price. But if you mention this phone call, we could probably get you in out the door at XYZ price, whatever it is that we're willing to say. This is a telephone special. We'll get you out the door for XYZ, right? Because that person calling in to see what your pricing is, that person calling in to see where your store is, it's their first time. Like, we can use common sense here. There's a lot of people that would be like, well, you're giving away discounts to people who would be coming. The person that's calling you is not calling you because they have been before. They're calling you because they've never been. And so you could say, hey, we have this telephone special going on because you called in. We can get you out the door for $35.95, whatever the number is. Just make sure you mention this phone call at the time of service, right? And that's the key is that caveat at the end. Make sure you mention this phone call. So our employees know to get that right hook very early on in the conversation to get the at-bat. Because once you have the at-bat, and this is a whole different video talking about ancillary sales, our other products that we sell, and the ability to make higher ticket averages without having to upsell, without having to have commissions, and without having to be like our competitors, is you have to have the at-bat in the first place. And you only get the at-bat by doing the things that get them in the store. And it takes a lot of patience, it takes a lot of practice, but over time, if you can nail these small little hacks, these small little strategies, it ultimately ends up with stores' car counts getting into very high numbers that are not where a lot of quick lubes in our space are. That's it for this video. If you guys have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, have a great weekend.